the reason for marriage. The reason for marriage. It's funny enough, today I was reading a post where someone said, um, earlier in life, in her 20s, that she felt she will get married. She just kept, "Oh, okay, someday I'll get married." And that now in her 30s, she's not so excited about marriage anymore. And a lot of people came and said, "No, you must be married. How can you say you can't be married? It's not a portion for Christians." And there was a lot of back and forth going on that. And now I'm here sitting with you, and you're saying the conversation for this morning is the reason for marriage. And I'm sure, of course, there's going to be a biblical backing to that. So let's start off.
Yeah, while we do that, I also want to use this opportunity to tell you it's a special week for those of you who have been following up our programs. Thursday, yes, it's our regular 4 o'clock at the auditorium of Save a Life, that's 8 to your street by Stadium Road. But this Saturday, for those of you, everybody who thinks, oh, that's 4 o'clock, I've tried my best. I've had several testimonies of people coming, but I want to be part of it. But I'm either coming outside River State or within River State, but my work or whatnot has not ever allowed me to be there. You have opportunity this Saturday by 10 a.m. at the same venue. You know, Save a Life Auditorium, 38 to your street by Stadium Road. Just call. Been given several numbers. Let somebody know I'm coming with my family. Whether you're married or not married, it's a special day you not like to miss. It's just this Saturday. We're not doing it next Saturday for now. So have this opportunity. And now that it is free, nobody's asking you to pay ticket or any of such things now. Don't abuse this privilege of, getting your questions answered. I mean, it's so interesting to hear families coming to testify how just attending a program for less than 1 month have solved, problems that would have,
Within the home.
snowballed into several problems in their families. So I invite you this Saturday to come along with your family. The Thursday program still holds. So talking about reasons for marriage, a lot of people will tell you, I want to marry so that I'll be happy. Okay, go and ask those that are married. Some of them are not happy. So is that the reason for, yeah? And there are not some other ways I could be happy outside marriage. That's what you ask yourself. Okay, so some other people will tell you, I marry because I want to be sleeping or whatever. There are people who are sleeping around without being married. So people get it wrong. Several, reasons why people, just like those of you said, I want to go to school to get a certificate. It's really certificate the reason for going to school. Then you see several cases where people, they call them non-academic students who stay at home. At the end of the academic year, they go and issue them whatever certificate they have, pumps up. So we must be able to understand why these things happen. When we get it right, though, the reason for it, so that those who are not there yet will understand what it's all about. Because marriages are really breaking. And the one that bothers me more are the violent ones. I mean, I read recently a case of a gentleman who was killed. A lady who was killed by the husband. When you hear such things, strangled and whatever, leaving the kids behind, why should it get to that level? Well, a life will have to go because two people decided to come together to make life. And they end up, that you call them life partner, not death partner.
Life partner.
That's what you call them.
I know you said something last week when you said
you need to get a life before you have a partner.
That's
what I say. So you don't start looking for a life partner when you don't have a life, and you're looking for a partner to join your miserable state of life. So it hurts. So it's important for people to begin to understand. This is why this kind of programs were created. You need to know about my soulmate. You are soulless, and you want to have a soulmate. These definitions are very important. If you to have a mentally deranged person to be looking for a soulmate, what kind of soulmate do you want? When you don't have a soul, you can do anything. We talked about psychopaths, those whose mind have so been mentally messed up that they can do anything. All right, so that kind of person is not meant for marriage. One of the reasons for marriage, number one reason we're looking about for marriage is to complement each other.
To complement each other.
To complement each other. We're going to look at Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Verse 9, one of the reasons for marriage is to complement each other. We have to understand that. All right. They look at why marriage is being established. Being one of the oldest institutions, we have established that too. And we said behind most of the perplexities and destructions we find in the society is a product of a broken home. All right. So when you see that young man that is on loose, like a loose cannon, killing, maiming people, you call them bandits today, but most of them are products of broken homes. So we should begin to understand those who say marriage is a scam or this education is a scam. You can say those things, your maxims, and think you get away with it. But when you sit back and begin to look at what these things are producing in the society, all right, Out of a broken homes, I told you, if those of you who read the book, we have my book,
Yeah.
will find out that behind that armed robber that they're shooting everywhere today, from a product of a broken
Of course.
home.
Yeah.
All right. And behind that young lady that is going about constituting all kinds of public nuisance, it's a product of a broken home. So those who said marriage is not good, there are reasons. Number one reason I said is to complement each
Each
other.
other.
That is the reason. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9,
4:9.
yes,
Ecclesiastes 4:9.
Mm-hmm.
Two are better than one
it says two are better than one.
because they have a good return.
Well, for what we're discussing this morning is for those who believe in the kingdom marriage.
Exactly.
Because we talked about contemporary, traditional, and kingdom. So we are concentrating on kingdom
On
marriage.
kingdom marriage.
So if you believe what we're talking about, two is better than one because they have a better result. That's what he says. So marriage is to complement one another. Okay. The opposite usually attracts. All right. The opposite attracts. That's how God created it. There's something that God put in the female folk that are wired differently. I don't know how those who say they are married to their fellow men or women, I can't go into that because I don't know how, I don't know what they're looking for. One, I don't know what they get. There's something in women that's not in men. That's how God created it. Both how they think, how they process, because we have different way of processing, how they adapt, all right, how they think. There are ways a woman sits back, especially a quiet man most times marries the loud one.
loud one.
The two loud people don't really complement each other. That one is going to have a problem. Have you ever seen two quiet people go on a date? It's so boring.
What will they talk about?
They just sit before you. How are you? This one will take about 2 minutes. How are you too? This one will take 3 minutes. Fine. Then he wait
How's
for
your
this
day
one
going?
to say fine. You know, it's so boring. And by the time the same way vice versa, when two loud people go on
a date.
on a date, you hear the lady coming back. Do you know he didn't even allow me talk because you want to
Both want to talk.
both want to talk. He can't even allow me talk. What kind of because you always want to talk. So you see, opposite people have a way of
Balancing each other.
balancing each other. All right. There's something about it that God created it that way. That compatibility is there. You know, whether they allow people, they work with understanding and they understand each other. There are certain things that a man will be doing. If you have a wife that complements you better, he will come in that area and let you know. I mean, I told you the story of the gentleman in the Bible who was about Pilate, who was about condemning Christ. You know, very, you know, a brilliant guy. As a judge, he was trying to place judgment on Christ. The wife came by the side and said, honey, I need to talk to you. I don't know what it is, but throughout last night, I've never had a good sleep. Please don't let the blood of this man to flow through our family. That's a woman that complements
The
the
husband.
husband. Okay, there are things like that in various families. If you marry somebody that complements you, who understands it, who knows when to ask you. The other day I was talking about women who encourages their husband. Honey, will you be here to watch this thing happen? How can this person insult me? Honey, go and fight. They give honey a kick because of hypertension. He gets on the
Gets
floor
on
and
the
die.
yeah.
And you will now run. I don't know what has happened. Devil. Yeah, you start bringing devil when you're the one that pushed on it. You didn't compliment him well. I mean, ability to tell your husband, I know I was the one that was insulted. I beg you with everything in me. Can we leave this place? You are bigger than this. You can't dignify this guy with this kind of response. Please, let's leave. That's a woman that understands, okay? That's a woman that understands and that complements the husband. So many people today that are seeing that are dying is because of their wives or their husband. You see a woman telling the husband, you see this piece of land, Kai, if they take it from you, you're not a man. I know I married my fellow woman. And you know when a woman says that
something
to a man,
like that.
the ego in a man will shut up. If I don't do this, I can't come into this house. This woman will believe I'm no longer a man. I'm coming out for you people. See the piece of land. And at the end, he will die for a piece of land that is not even up to 1,000 naira. And when he dies, the woman will make millions. All right. Some of them are that way. So of course, the ones who goes out of foolishness. So do you complement each other? Or do you vice versa? There are also some women who are pushed away by their husbands. You encourage your wife to go and do something silly. And when that happens, you no longer allow her to come into the house. She becomes, and you, in fact, you use names. So marriage is meant to complement each other. Somebody is meant to understand the kind of wife or husband they married. You cannot afford to tell your husband or your wife because you speak English until you begin to understand that English is just a kind of language. It is not an assessment.
It means for communication.
And it's not a function of somebody who is brilliant or not. You can speak the whole English in this world, but you still act like somebody who's a total novice.
Yes.
So if your wife is not strong in a particular area, you should be able to complement. I mean, there are homes where the woman is a scientist. The the husband is from social science or arts. They also meant to complete. If you know the
Complete each-
English in the whole world, and you don't know this part of the world, you are meant to complement each other,
complement each
especially when it
other.
has to do with helping the kids. All right. I married a wife that is a full scientist. It doesn't matter the kind of assignment my kids be. If you like, come from algebra to, to whatever. All right. I mean, there's some deep
Yes.
area she comes in. She tell me, sorry, don't worry. We're here. All right.
And he's sorted.
And it's not just sorted that the kids will start clapping for it when they come back from the exam. All right. And there are areas they come that is my area of strength.
Yeah.
So that's what compliment is all about.
True.
You should get somebody that compliment you. By then you avoid shame. Not I mean, there are cases where the kids bring this assignment, they are taken back to their teachers because both father and mother
They're none.
second to apology. All right. So marriage is meant for people to
Compliment each other.
each other. But sometimes you have to find out that what attracts you to somebody can sometimes start frustrating you. I want to clear that point. There are some people who say I married her because she's quiet. After a while, her quietness begins to irritate you.
Yeah, why are you too quiet?
That is the question. Why are you not too quiet? But you married her because she's
quiet.
quiet. After a while, why is this quietness now
Irritating
a point
you.
of irritation to you? So it's a problem that people got to understand. That in complement each other, there are sometimes these things come. That's why we talked about hormonal difference. As we grow, these kind of things come. I married you because he's bold. My husband is bold. I'm of the quiet type. I tell people about why you act the way you act, the character traits in us. I married my wife is of the melancholy type. He doesn't talk. I say a while, they will the same person who say I married my husband because he's bold, ferocious, and the rest of them. It's the same woman saying he talks too much.
You're
We go out there,
everywhere.
he's just talking among our relatives. They will not ask him question. So what attracts you to people can as well sometimes frustrate you. That is the thing. So the weakness you complain of is what you are supposed to compliment. That weakness you are complaining is what
complaining
God
of.
brought into the life of that person. If there's an aspect of that, for instance, your wife is careless or your husband is careless. Most men are careless. He drops his key. I'm sure in your studio now you now find keys and find this and that. There are homes where the man is PhD in losing things. And the wife is a careful type.
Yeah.
So complimenting your husband, follow him at the back. He throws his
And
key, you pick.
pick it up.
That is why you are there because he's just very good at that. In fact, he will go travel out of the two phones. He will leave one for them and come back. So when you travel with him, pick. This is why you're in that home. You don't go there and now use it against him
And keep nagging.
and keep nagging that, you lose your thing. Why are you in that place? You are there to compliment him. As a matter of fact, when Saul became a semi-lunatic, God sent David there to go and play the flute. It was to compliment Saul's madness. David was not sent there and say, nah, this level of your madness I've never seen before. How can a madman be laughing like that? A madman laughs. That's why you came there a madman should not be talking fine. So the main thing you are sent to somebody's life is not to use it against them or blackmail them or to castigate them, but to compliment those things you call weaknesses in their life, okay? You came into his life, you notice that his bedroom has been a mess. He turns everything. In fact, he eats on the bed and keeps his plate there, all right? But you are the type that is always placing your things in order.
You're
You are
very
very organized,
meticulous,
very
yes.
meticulous about things. So marriage is meant for you to complement each other. You come into that home, you turn it upside down and say, oh God, I can't allow this. This is how I do things. But in doing it, understand that this guy is messy. It's going to be gradual. Don't say, okay, I've married you, I'm a man. You're supposed to be a woman. Why are you not organized? Look at your things, place here and there. Don't you know you're a woman? Now you're hurting her. You're hurting her with words and feelings. This is why you married her, because you're the other type. If everybody continues to be you, both of you are going to have problems. You need a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That is what it's going to be, okay? So one of the reasons for this marriage is to complement each other. If we go on this, we can go on and on and on. And that's why we invite you to come for these family circle programs we do every Thursday. But this week, we're having a Saturday program by 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Second one, why reason for marriage is for character development.
For character
For
development.
character development. Okay, if you have not married, you've not had a character check in your life. I've never seen anything that check character like
And
marriage. Look at Galatians chapter 5.
Galatians 5.
Galatians chapter 5 from verse 22. Galatians chapter 5. We can look at good news. Galatians chapter 5 from verse 22. For character development. You see a young man that is a rascal. He come from here before you know. He say he's jumping to Bringing Kebbi to Lagos or whatever. He lives his life. How are you going to eat? I'll eat in the bus. Is any kind of life. He marries and people are like, are you sure this is this guy that will not go home and take permission? And sometimes he said, I would have loved to go, but my family said no. I understand what is going on. That's a woman in his life.
Okay.
That's a man in her life. So for character development, that is why people marry. All right. So look at Galatians chapter 5 from verse 22 to 26.
Galatians 5:22
To 26, yes.
26. But the Spirit produces love,
The Spirit produces love,
joy,
joy,
peace,
peace,
patience,
patience,
kindness,
kindness,
goodness,
goodness,
faithfulness,
faithfulness,
humility,
humility,
and self-control.
and self-control. This, when you said God is love, these are qualities that the fruit of the Spirit gives you to
Produces.
run marriage. Have you read to verse 26?
You have read to 23.
Okay.
And those who belong to Jesus Christ
Okay.
have put to death their human nature
Okay.
with all its passions and desires. The Spirit has given us life. He must also control our lives. We must not be proud or irritate one another or be jealous of one another.
Okay, so one of the things that marriage will do in our life is character development. If we'll understand how to do it. One of the cases in the Bible says, speak the truth in love. This is where if somebody brings you in and said, I admire you so much, but I think you're acting out of character. When couples talk, because most of them don't. I told you one of the things that couples should adopt is what I call STEP. Sleep together, talk together, eat together, pray together.
Pray together.
That's STEP. So if you're the type that a functionality is STEP, when you talk, you build characters. I mean, there are people that are so wide in speaking. You speak and shout. Fortunately for you, I'm married to a lady that is so calm, calculated. And you're like, I could have had this thing better if you have calmed down. And maybe this is the way you shout outside, though, and people overlook you because it's you. You are just one man squad, a loose cannon that nobody understands. Then now comes the woman that said, do you know if you had come down to tell me that you would have made more sense? I said, love you, but I don't know how you do this. You just open, whoa. And you're like, the first time you get provoked, the pride and arrogance in you would say, do you know whom you are correcting? But with time, you see that you are developing character. And who is helping you? Your wife.
Your wife.
So you get into the office, you now calm down and talk to people. And they're like, oh, I can't believe this. Where is this coming from? Character development. Not just because of your wife or your husband, from your children. When the kids begin to come, there are the good set of people that will train you on character are the kids. When they begin to tell you that, you shouting like this or displaying anger. Because you wouldn't want your child to pick the negative aspect of you. So you'll be forced to control yourself. You'll be forced to behave well. I mean, there are certain, I've never seen any rascal. As soon as they start having kids, they don't want their kids to be like them. That's one thing I discovered. Even those of them who are violent. I've seen somebody who was so violent when they imprisoned him. He told the wife, don't bring my newborn baby. Because the wife was pregnant when they arrested him and imprisoned him. He told the wife, don't bring my baby to the prison. I don't want him to live this kind of life. I've never seen, even if it's an armed robber or a killer that wants a child to do the same thing, they send them to good schools. So there is nothing that builds character and development of character like marriage. It makes you behave yourself. There are situations you see somebody driving. They said, I want a good driver. Please make sure he's married. Why do they say that kind of thing? Because they know that when somebody is unmarried, he behaves rascally, whatever. All this crashed on the sea, whatever. You watch those who are, moving all these sheep and boats. These are young boys who have nothing to lose. One, if you are married, you have kids that are looking up to you. You have responsibilities to keep. So you are careful. Even things you say. Okay, you begin to be careful. I don't want to say this thing and get into trouble. I have a family to take care of. The young man I was told that passed on while he was there on top of the thing, around he was screaming.
Yes, I have three children.
I have children. That's what marriage will do. You try to behave. Meanwhile, the person who was shouting to, was he hearing? That one was as far as he's concerned. You hear them say, "We die here." You die here because you don't have anybody to give account to. That's why they use such magazine.
Yes,
we die here. How will you die here when you have kids?
What happens to your children?
What happens to the one who asks you, Dad? What happens to your wife who will say, is that what we plan? We die here. We die. And when they say all those, especially this generation, we die here. I don't care whatever happens. You will care. You have responsibilities to do. You have people you brought into this world whom you are going to place on the path of pain. So character development is one of the reasons. Controlling ourselves, passion, vibes, if it's what you call it. Yeah. Vibes, things you say, things you talk. Marriage will bring you under control. And character, how you go. There are some of us that will not leave their house beyond 6:30, 7 p.m. Because of marriage. But when they were not married, oh my God, 9 p.m. somebody called, but why on a day? Our usual maxim. We day somewhere, I'm joining you people. When are we coming back? We don't know until dawn, as they said. Before you know it, tomorrow morning, where are you guys? We got drunk somewhere. We're sleeping in the car. Okay, from here, we'll find our way back to another ceremony. That's a man who has not really been prone By marriage. By marriage, you have a way of telling you, look, I need to get home. I have a family to get back to. So that is one of the reasons people marry. Number 3, for companionship.
Companionship.
Companionship, all right? Companionship. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 11. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 11. Marriage is also for companionship. It's important we know that, for companionship.
Okay.
All right? For companionship, yes. The Bible says it's not good for a man
to be alone.
to be alone. It didn't say single. I've corrected that. Yeah. The Bible encourages you to be single. Single in ideas, in taking responsibilities. Behind every failure is a seed of success. So if you fail, you're correct. The Bible didn't condemn your being single. It's talking about being alone. There's something about being alone. Alone in reasoning. There are certain things that requires. In fact, in some diagnosis in medicine, they say go ask for second opinion.
Yeah.
There are certain things that require second opinion for it to be able to sell. All right. So in the Ecclesiastes chapter 4,
11.
verse 11, yes.
If it is cold, two can sleep together and stay warm.
Yes.
But how can you keep warm by yourself?
How can you keep warm by yourself?
Two people can resist an attack.
Two people can resist an attack.
That will defeat one person alone.
That would defeat one person alone.
A rope made of 3 cords.
A rope made of 3 cords is hard to break. All right. So marriage is for companionship. It's for companionship. It's for sometimes you need to talk to someone.
Yes.
All right. Talking and companionship is detoxing. There are sometimes it gets to your head. When you are alone, it kills you silently without even knowing it. Detoxing is when you speak to somebody. Have you ever spoken to somebody thinking that the whole world is falling and it tells you, is that all? I've been worse than this. I'm sure I've not told you this. You can't handle even my own story.
This is nothing actually.
This is nothing actually. This is one of those things that we go through in life to be stronger. You are better than this. That's why I'm your friend. As a friend, I could not sympathize with your weakness, but I help you summon your strength. You are better than this, and I know you'll come out of it. So don't bug yourself. As a matter of fact, this is the much I can do to assist you out of this. That's why it's companionship. I'm going to make a call right away. If this is your problem, I have somebody who has handled this before. Really? Yes. He knows how to solve it. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm going to call him right away, and the person is coming here, and he'll get this door. And you see the person taking this breath of life. That's what companionship is all about. And the person tells you, can I hold your hands? Can we pray? God can solve this. Just be okay. This is going to be fine. I'll handle this. I'll take care of it. That's not taking care of it like Jezebel. Because
that's one form of taking care of.
Go and use his signature and sign out what doesn't belong to you and kill the person that is involved. That's not taking care of it. I wrote about a book about the stabilizer called woman. If you're a woman, it's supposed to be a stabilizer. If you're a man, it's supposed to be a support system. Okay, that's companionship. The person needs you there. I mean, have you ever seen a situation where a woman said, my husband is coming? That's companionship. All right. And make sure when you say my husband is coming, you be responsible enough. I take it as a challenge when my wife said my husband can sort it out. Oh my goodness. I usually say, Lord, your wisdom. Because that is, placing you in the spot.
On some
my husband, I know, yes, can handle this. And he comes. He said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? And her friends will all be smiling. I told you my husband can take care of this. All right. That's what companionship is all about. To make one another proud. Do not embarrass your partner outside. All right. There are some women that keep saying, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, only for you to go there and beat her. Before same people, she has been shouting, my husband, my husband, my husband. All right. There has to be that companionship. That companionship includes even where she walks, include whatever he's doing. There are cases you see a man accompanying the wife, whether for gym, or whether they shop, that shop where you work. Don't say I'm head of state or whatever. If you have allowed her to work, go to that shop one day and keep her company and let people know I am the husband. So that the young men who are running around her, disrespecting her, we know she has somebody like you. All you have done to now, when these people say when they finish walking the road, they keep a block, either B for Beja or C for this. They tell you we are involved.
We are here.
We are involved in this. Stop over in that car, without your convoy or whatever. Stop beside her and stop. And they say, who came? All her friends and who used to play with her will all run out. That's my husband. Your husband? He said, yes. What did he come to do? In fact, he's helping me to sell today. This is your husband. You have raised her respect. That's what companionship is all about. You let somebody know, this is my wife, okay? That's why you see men, when they walk into their in-laws or whatever, they tell you, don't mess with my wife. Not like saying it that way, but with the kind of things they do.
They say they ask.
The same thing with the woman. You stand by your husband, okay? Don't do this. Standing by your husband, I do tell you. Somebody said when the other day somebody assaulted my husband, a fellow woman, so I fought her. Well, that's a gutter behavior and gutter language, and I won't be part of that. Why should you fight because you are trying to be companion to your husband? Your ability for that young lady who is trying to mount your husband to tell your husband, sweetie, you know where you belong. I can't watch you dignify this kind of gutter behavior with a response. We may have to leave this place. If you really love me, let's just walk away. And you pick him and you just walk away. And I mean, I told you that egos don't fight. They raise standard. And you just move away. That is what companionship is all about. Next one, because of time, is for sexual satisfaction. All right? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 from verse 4. We take one or two more because of time. For sexual satisfaction, for 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Remember, we're looking at reasons for marriage.
Reasons for marriage.
Yes. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 from verse 4 to 5.
1 Corinthians.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
4 to 5.
Yes.
Still read the good news?
Yes.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 7, 4 to 5, we have here. A wife is not the master of her own body,
Yes.
but her husband is. In the same way, a husband is not the master of his own body, but his wife is. Do not deny yourselves to each other unless you first agree to do so for a while in order to spend your time in prayer, but then resume normal marital relations. In this way, you will be kept from giving in to Satan's temptation because of your lack of self-control.
I have counseled ladies and men recently married who tells me, especially the ladies, when I ask him stuff he doesn't do, I will deny him my body. That is wrong. It's a sin. It's wrong. You are pushing him out. And that is absolutely preposterous. It's very wrong. That is the reason for marriage. That's the difference between those of people or whatever, prostitutes or whatever you call them, people of easy virtue he carries. He doesn't love them and they don't love him. What he's doing with those ones are exchange of spirits, and indirectly they're going to affect you, because whoever that is joined to a harlot is one spirit with the person. So instead of going outside to collect spirit that will haunt you in the home, do not deny yourself each other, all right? And make your home fun. I've said it before. The way you create a home, make it fun. Those comedy you work outside, they can turn it into your home, all right? Your husband or your wife, one of the reasons I said is for sexual satisfaction. Make sure both of you love each other. Do not be stupid in it. Stupidity is when you are very volatile and abusive to your wife and you believe you turn her to a sexual machine or a toy. And that's not where it's supposed to be on both sides. All right. So we're going to meet up time. We're looking at marriage is also an institution for covenants. Now, number 5.
For what?
Covenants. Malachi chapter 2. Marriage is an institution for covenant. All right.
Malachi 2.
Yes. From verse 13 to 14.
Okay. Malachi 2.
Yes. Marriage is an institution for covenant. Malachi chapter 2. Remember, this week is special. Thursday, 4 p.m., then Saturday, 10 a.m. You can afford to meet the kind of revelations and fun that it's going to be. Call your family members to be part of it. Malachi chapter 2, from verse 13.
I don't know why my Malachi is not open now. Just a moment.
Malachi, open in Jesus' name.
Malachi. Let me see if it's my network. Just a moment.
Okay. Malachi chapter 2.
Okay. All right.
Verse 13.
2:13. Okay, let me get there.
Marriage is instituted for covenant. Yes. Malachi chapter 2 from verse 13.
All right. I can't seem to get it there. Let me just do this. Malachi 2:13 and see where that takes me.
All right.
Okay. Malachi 2:13. Another thing you do. You flood the Lord's altar with tears.
You flood the Lord's altar with tears.
You weep and wail because he no longer looks with favor on your offerings.
God is no longer looking at your offering. I'm donating 1 million naira. I'm donating this. I don't look at it again. God is saying.
Or accept it with pleasure from your hands.
I don't even accept it again. The reason is what?
You ask why? It is because the Lord is the witness between you and the wife of your youth.
God is the witness between you and the wife of your youth.
You have been unfaithful to her.
You see, that's why I say marriage is suited for covenant. When unfaithfulness begin to come, God said your offerings are no longer accepted. So this means you weep and cry every day. I'm giving this, I'm sowing this for this happen. That's why it's not happening. And you now keep wondering, how can I sow 10 million naira for this happening? It didn't happen.
Yeah.
God said, you're unfaithful to the wife of your youth. The other time we talked about prayers in the book of 1 Peter chapter 3. He said your prayers will not be answered because you hate your wife.
Your wife.
But this time around, he's talking about your offering. Yes.
It says, though she is your partner,
Though she's your partner,
the wife of your marriage covenant.
the wife of your, read to verse 14.
All right.
Also say the
Verse
wife
14.
of your marriage
Covenant.
covenant. And I said marriage is instituted for covenant.
Covenant, yes.
For covenant. Don't break the covenant of marriage. It's very important to understand it. It's not a joke. For those who say marriage is scam, you better don't come into that scam, because if you come in,
Stay
there's a
out of it.
covenant.
Yes, there's a covenant.
There's
yeah.
a covenant behind it. Look at verse 14 to 15. You will see that marriage is to raise children.
Yes.
All right.
Has not the one God made you? Has not the one God made you? You belong to him in body and spirit. And what does the one God seek? Godly offspring.
The godly offspring means what? Godly children.
Children.
Marriage is meant to bring in responsible children. So one of the reasons to marry is to bring up responsible children. You read to verse 15. To bring up responsible children. And listen, it has to be planned. During the time of clarity, when I was talking about things to do before you go married, that was what we did last week.
Yeah.
Both of you should sit together. We're going to have 3. The reason for 3 is that we're going to give them the best. Not as they are coming, God's will, we take. That is absolute nonsense. We want 4. The reason why we want 4, if the level of our economy can carry. And give them. Because don't bring children you can't take care of. God will punish you for it, because he that cannot take care of himself and his household should be counted worse than an infidel.
An infidel. So
don't say, as far as I'm concerned, I can have up to 20. What are you doing? You can't even place hands on your responsible means of income, and you're having 20. So you, to raise responsible children, the book of Psalm 127 said, children are his heritage, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So one of the reasons, finally, marriage is designed for agreement and collaboration. Matthew chapter 18, verse 19.
Matthew 18.
Verse 19. Marriage is designed for agreement and collaboration. Maybe after
Matthew
this
18, you said?
Calls. Yes, Matthew 18, verse 19.
19.
Yes.
Says again, truly I tell you,
Yes.
that if 2 of you on earth agree about anything they ask for,
Listen, anything.
Anything they
Try
ask
this
for.
thing this morning. Try this thing. Call
2
your
of
wife.
you.
I have been looking for this, honey. We've not found it. Can we hold hands and ask God for our visa? Can we hold hands and ask God for completion of our house? Go and try this. I have tried it and it worked severally. Read that place again.
It says again, truly I tell you.
Truly, this one is not a joke. And
truly I tell you.
This is a fact. That's why he started with truly I tell you.
That if 2 of you,
you and your wife
on earth
agree
about anything.
It's not the one you say we're doing it in the spirit. On this earth. You don't even need to be in what you call church or whatever, fellowship. In that your house, not when you are fighting or quarreling and cursing each other. In that ambience of God's fear and glory. If 2 of you, concerning that your shop that have not been working, concerning that your business that have been in a mess, you've not received contract now since last year, concerning that your health, if 2 of you shall agree, oh my goodness. There are cases where you place your money at the center of the table and say, sweetheart, we're changing the economic prospect of this family. If 2 of you shall agree, what did he say?
It says, ask anything.
If 2 of you shall agree.
And ask for anything.
And ask for, what did he say?
Anything.
Anything.
It will be done.
Anything. He didn't say if you ask for this particular thing and this one will not work. Anything, including child here. We want kids. We've been praying to God to give us kids. Honey, let's hold hands. Because it's the woman that have been praying from church to church. The man has not been supporting.
Yeah.
If 2 of you shall agree concerning anything,
it will be done.
It will be done. That's what marriage is all about. It's for agreement. It's for collaboration. I don't know what this matter is all about.
Yes.
But this guy have taken us to court. Let's put our hands together. You pray. You move. He said, if a man's way pleases the Lord, he makes his enemies to be at peace with him. Honey, we're going to push off this case. It's going to be in our favor. Preponderance of evidence and balance of probability. This thing will swing towards our favor. You hold hands. It's not a function of, well, honey, be praying while I'll be trying. It doesn't work. Because that's what these men do.
Be praying.
They be praying. Now, you know how to pray. So increase that prayer. Even if you don't get this thing, I know you and your pastor is not praying well. You, what are you doing? If two of you shall agree,
Yeah.
you need to take some calls?
Yes, let's
agreeing on anything, it's going to be done for you.
Let's quickly try and take a couple of calls. Of course, the numbers for you to dial is 0817 888 889. That's 091 6000 8890. Those two numbers. Again, I'll call it again. You have 081 87 888 889 or 091 6000 8890. We've been talking about the reasons for marriage. You can also send us an SMS or a WhatsApp to 091 6000 8898. That's 091 6000 8898. Hello, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your listening device. Hello? I can't make out what you're saying. Please call back if you can. We've got very limited time. Hello, good morning. Yes, please turn down the volume of your listening device. All right, then. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll tell you one place you can find him. Of course, that's at the Silver Live Auditorium on Thursdays. Time is 4 p.m. You can find him there. Thank you for calling in. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? All right. If you can't get through there, please just simply send an SMS to 091 6000 8898. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, what's your
I
name?
heard you. My name is Onyet. I heard you people talking this morning. You impressed me a lot.
Okay, good.
Okay, when you're in a home that man have not paid your bride price and you have given birth to 3 children, you agree to talk down on you, do anyhow. That one is here marriage. I have even left the marriage with my 3 children because you have not properly married me. But no peace, we don't pray together, you don't care. Even me and the children pray, we do our thing, we don't care. We move around, pursue woman up and down. So that one is here marriage. For a man that have not paid your bride price, did I do a bad thing to leave that home?
Okay.
I want to know.
All right. Okay. Over to you, Pat.
How did you realize he didn't pay your marriage after you have 3 kids?
Sir?
When both of you were having kids?
He said, how did you realize that he has not paid your bride price after having
having
kids?
3 kids.
I'm having patience that he will do that later, but no peace between us.
All right.
There was a faulty foundation. The Bible said, if the foundation be broken, what can the righteous do? One of the mistakes I said couples make is getting full benefits of marriage without proper commitment. Cohabiting without proper commitment is one of the mistakes in marriage. You got into his home, cohabiting, no proper commitment, no proper counseling. We said stages of friendship, clarity, mentorship, time of interview, not intercourse. He took intercourse and not interview. So why are you now realizing now, after 3 kids, that he's a useless man and the rest of them?
Trying to be
It's a
patient.
faulty foundation.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. What's your name? I'll call back. Lost that connection. We're trying to see if we can take a few more and then we wrap up on this. But don't go anywhere. We still have another conversation you don't want to miss. Don't forget that today is Tuesday. So the conversations are back to back. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, send me an SMS. I don't know if I have a problem with the phone lines, but you can send an SMS. I've been trying to pick up the lines. But I'm having a little difficulty with that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, please. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Ijoma Emmanuel. I'm calling from Asa.
Okay, Ijoma Emmanuel, good to have you. Go ahead.
Really, I want to thank you for the station. I really thank you for coming across it. It's quite life changing, and I want to compliment the pastor, Austin Nadi. And honestly, I would like to see him face to face too for more deeper counseling or something for my family. So, but I don't stay around the PH, so I don't know how I can get there. If any
Where do you
address
stay?
given, Asa Upper West,
Asa Ukwa West. Oh, okay. Okay.
yes,
That's Abia State,
yes,
right?
Abia State,
Yes,
yes,
Abia
Abia
State.
State, yes.
Okay, there's a
On
program on
Saturday,
Saturday, yes. 10 a.m.
okay,
Yeah.
Yes. So you can
okay,
come in on Saturday, 10 a.m.
Stadium Road, you might not
okay,
understand Port Harcourt.
Okay, but just listen
oh,
before we wrap up, we'll give the address where that's happening on Saturday and the numbers to call.
it's all right.
All
Thank you
right.
so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, bye.